Hello and welcome everybody. Today we have a monumentous day. That's right. I have received my first ever dislike on one of my videos. I'm super pumped. I'm really happy that this finally occurred. I've been waiting for this for a while. So glad to see that. Also on the internet side of things, we have a little bit of a metagame update. So as of the recording of this video, Eldrazi it's everywhere, falling from the sky. We got my favorite pilot here, Subway Eat Flesh. I just like that name. No other particular reason to call it out. Also see Yamakiller here on Scapeshift. I think he's also done a little bit of Amulet, I think. Could be wrong, don't quote me on that. But anyways, we've got a lot of mid-rangey stuff. We got a little bit of Dredge, which is always a good matchup. We got Eldrazi. There's also some other stuff like Jund and whatnot coming up, and, you know, these recent events and whatnot. So, anyways, that's kind of the meta that things have stabilized into. We got some Prowess, we got some Jund, we got some Eldrazi, a little bit of control-y stuff like Azorius, and there's still some people tinkering around with Bant or like Sultai, like Reclamation type strategies. So anyways, I just thought I would give you guys the quick little metagame short there, and we can move on to talking about this deck list. This is the list that we are going to be playing for the league that this video is the beginning of, and you'll notice we are still on the entirely same main board as the last video with Tireless Trackers in the main. I have been quite impressed by them, and I'm going to continue to give it a shot. There was at one point I was testing a version that had 4 Gruul Turfs and was splashing Fire Spout on the sideboard. I don't know, I'm not in love with it. It's a little too much variance for me, so we're not going with that today, just to let you guys know a little bit behind the scenes. Yeah, so because of the metagame that I talked about, we still want access to explosives against those mono 1-drop decks like Prowess, and against the Tarmogoyf decks and all of that good stuff. And then for those controlling matchups, we still have our pack mitigation. We're still going to have both of these bullets in the main board. We've got, of course, Tireless Tracker being great against everything. It's a little weaker against Prowess than against the other decks, but against basically all the other decks that we see showing up in the meta recently, Tireless Tracker is going to be great. It's almost like having a sideboard card ready in game 1 against those strategies. So definitely excited to see that. And then in the sideboard, not terribly many changes here. I believe last time I played a version of this deck, it had 2 Gusts and maybe 2 Negates or 2 Disputes or something. I don't know. Y'all know, I don't. I'm not going to check it. I'm too lazy. But today we're playing 3 Disputes, again, to battle those blue control-y decks. I've not been super impressed by Aether Gust, but because of our moving the trackers to the main board, we do have some additional sideboard space, and 1 Aether Gust will get the nod, mainly because it's a extra card against those green-red, Blood Moony type decks, like with Mages of the Moon and whatnot. Got 1 extra answer to those things. Never a bad thing, never a bad thing. The rest of the sideboard is my pretty standard, like, we got the 3rd Beast Within, which is a card that I like. I don't think the 3rd one is completely necessary, but we're playing it. And everything else is exactly the same. I love me some Baloths. Love me a Reclamation Sage. These 3 Dismembers will never leave my sideboard so long as decks like Infect and Devoted Druid strategies and that kind of thing. As long as those decks are playable and available, and also Mages in the Moon even. Mages in the Moon decks, Dismember is quite good against. As long as those strategies exist, Dismember will be here. I even thought about playing potentially a 4th Dismember or something along those lines, but seems like a bit much. So anyways, that is the deck list. You can see it all on screen here, and I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the match. I was a little afraid I was about to register with the wrong deck, although many even streamers don't know this. If you have not started even a single match and you join a league, you can drop from the league with 0 matches completed and you'll get your full refund. So if you accidentally submit the wrong deck list, do not fret. Go ahead and drop. You'll get your 100 play points back. Obviously, I'm not going to be legally liable or anything like that if it doesn't quite work, but I just recently did it myself and it worked for me, so. Alright. Let's get in this match. Get it going. What will we be paired against? On the play. Love it, love it. This hand's pretty decent. It needs a Titan, but we've got an Amulet, and we've got some additional lands. Could find like a Tolari West or something with one of these Stirrings. So, yeah, we'll keep it. Turn 1 Amulet, turn 2 Dryad into Ancient Stirrings off of a extra land drop. Seems good, seems good. Alright, here is the Amulet. We even have a basic forest if they happen to be playing something like a red-green deck that is very hateful against non-basic lands. Spire Bluff Canal, Swiss Spear. So this is going to be a blue-red or a Teamer Prowess deck. I don't know. That might not be good news for us, in all honesty. We'll see, we'll see. So let's go ahead and get this Dryad out there. And for the time being, I'm going to yield these Amulet triggers. But the second I pick up a second Amulet, which I'm hoping could be the case in the near future, I will definitely have to remove those yields. I have been punished one too many times for for leaving yields on with a second Amulet in play. Do we want to go ahead and get this Tireless out? I guess we do in case our Dryad does not survive. We can still play a Stirrings off of this, so... Secret Forest mode activated. There's an Amulet, but we could get another bounce land here. Let's see. If we get an Amulet, then we'll have 4, 8, 9, 10. So we'll easily be able to cast a Titan this upcoming turn if our Dryad doesn't die. Although, we'd be playing pretty hard into a counterspell of some sort. We could also transmute Talari West for a Cavern of Souls if we needed to. Could be wrong, but I'm going to take the Amulet. Yeah, we've already got one bounce land here, so it's going to be no big deal. And we'll pass it back. If they had something like a Force of Negation, they may have forced our turn with an Amulet, so they will have to have drawn one here to get us as far as the Summoner's Pact is concerned. And luckily, in order to do all this, we have to float our mana first, so we can play around like a Mana Leaker's Flame Slash. My goodness. How rude. Okay. There's a Titan. We just, do we have Titan here? No, I guess if we had played the Garenberg last turn, we would. Awkward. Let's see, we can play Amulet, float 4, pick up Talari West. That's 5 mana. We'd be one short of casting like an Azusa or something if we were to Summoner's Pact for Azusa. Looks like we're going to be a turn off on this Titan here, sadly. Let's go ahead and play our Amulet, I suppose. And I guess Stirrings and see what we can pick up here. How about a third Amulet? What do you guys think about a third Amulet of Vigor? I think very favorably on it. I am going to go ahead and make that one the pick. Now, we could play Garenbrig and play the third Amulet, but we can always just play the third Amulet on this upcoming turn before we start doing other things. So I think I want to go ahead... Oh, no, we need to play the Growth Chamber and No, we don't need to transmute on the same turn. Whatever. I'm playing Garenbrig, and I guess we'll go ahead and play the third Amulet out, because we don't need to transmute for a Titan now that we actually have Titan in hand, so... We could be running into some piece of counter magic. I don't know how much counter magic a deck like this would play. In all honesty, they're probably playing things like Lava Dart and Manamorphose and that kind of thing, and they're not really trying to hold up mana, I would assume. We'll see if they can kill us from 15 here. Not impossible, not impossible. Light up the stage. That's a pretty good one for a turn like this. We're already at 6. Uh-oh. Is that lethal? That's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I think we're dead here. If they see the line and carry through it. Yeah, because this is going to be 10, plus this is the 11th. Or they have mutagenic growth. Okay, we're just dead. Well, my goodness. That's ridiculous. We would have drawn Arboreal Grazer. Okay. Man, that actually would have been nice a turn before. Okay, well, that happened. Let's get... Do we want Aether Gust in here? I don't know. Because it hits the Swift Spears and other red prowess creatures. I guess we do. We probably want Dismember. I don't know how many, though. We'll see, we'll see. Let's go ahead and bring in all 3 for now. I don't think Dispute's going to be great. Explosives will, though. Baloths seem like good roadblocks to me. Beast Withins are of questionable usage. They could hit something like an Ashiok or whatever, but replacing a Prowess threat with a Beast token is not terribly productive for us. We can definitely trim a Summoner's Pact. We might want to trim Bojuka Bog. I don't feel like they're really utilizing their graveyard other than flashing back Lava Darts, and Bog doesn't really do anything against Lava Darts. I don't expect them to be playing Snapcasters or anything, and if they're Snapcasting something back, then that's probably actually good for us, not bad, so I'm going to go ahead and side this out. I guess they could be playing Bedlam Revelers, but because we saw, I believe we saw Stormwing Entity. I don't remember how. I'm pretty sure they had Stormwing Entity. That makes me think that they're less likely to be on Revelers, but I don't know. Who knows, y'all? Who knows? Stirrings is alright, finding Bounce Land or Amulet or Explosives. I think we can trim the Explorers. What else? We got to trim 2 more things. Azusa dies to bolt effects, but I don't know if that's actually too bad, in all honesty. You can trim maybe a second Pact. I don't know if I like that, to be honest. I guess it's just going to be the Stirrings. I mean, do we need this Pact negation? I don't know if we can play around them having counter magic in the first place, in all honesty. I'm going to go without it and see how it goes. Man, I thought we had that last game secured, and then we just died. We will play first. Alright, this hand's not bad. We got some lands that will not do damage to us. We got a roadblock and a little bit of ramp. Yeah, I think this is good. Sorry, Grazer. You're nothing but a roadblock to me. So we could hold on to the Sanctuary in the case that we draw an Amulet, in which case that'll speed up our Titan by 1 turn. So it's probably going to be correct to go ahead and put the Breeding Pool into play here instead of the Sanctuary, as you might usually expect. If we did not have another untapped source that would not do damage to us, then I would definitely do the Sanctuary so that we could play a 3-drop if we draw it. But since we have the untapped source, we can already play our 3-drop with no recompense, as you might say. So I'm going to hold on to the Sanctuary here just in case. I'm not sure what this Summoner's Pact is going to do, in all honesty. Because we could pack 4 and play a Dryad right now. We would need to top deck a land in order to cast Titan, and we'd be tapped out a turn from now. I guess we don't want to do that. It's probably better to see if we can find an Amulet or something. Engineered Explosives is not bad. If we take a land, we'll be able to get to our Titan a little bit better, but we're currently a little slow at doing that as far as getting to Titan is concerned. I'm going to go ahead and take the Explosives, I think. I don't know if I want to play it out into a potential Abrade or something along those lines, so maybe not. Let's go ahead and get the Sanctuary in play, I suppose. We will get a little bit punished if we draw an Amulet, but I think now is the right time. The perfect pet. Alright. So we got a Sprite Dragon here. It's a flying haste dude that gets permanent prowess, as you might say. And now I have some interest in just playing Explosives on 2, because I think that this guy is going to be much more problematic. Hitting the 1-drops also kills our Grazer, which our Grazer is probably not long for this world anyways, but I think this is the line I'm most comfortable with. Alright, we'll pass it back. Now we'll just have to see if we can make it through a couple more turns here. We do have backup Titans if our first Titan gets countered. Don't know if I expected that or not, to be honest. Got a Swift Spear. I mean, Explosives on 1 would have been good against that one. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and block. If they're not doing anything, do I blow up this Explosives? I guess not. Alright. And we got a lot of Prowess-y type triggers here. And they do play Bedlam Reveler. That's good to know. Right now, they're not even close to casting a Bedlam Reveler. I don't know how much we're going to need this mana. If we draw, say, an Obstinate Baloth, then we won't have the mana to play Baloth and also blow explosive. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and fire this off here. But if we draw a 3-drop, then it might have been better off to wait one turn. Or we can just cast a Titan immediately. I was not thinking about drawing a Garenbrig, but thankfully our deck will come through. So, and this is not exposed to a counterspell. Fantastic. Fantastic. I would imagine they got a lot of work to do here to beat this guy. So, we're not really getting Fielded Ed triggers just yet. We might be interested in getting Garrison and, like, Radiant Fountain or something, or maybe even just Garrison Stronghold, so we can get 2 random lands off of our next Titan's ETB trigger. I don't hate that. I think we definitely get Garrison for sure. The other land is, like, debatable. It could be Radiant Fountain, so we can't just die out of nowhere. It could be the Slayer Stronghold, so we don't have to search it up. We can just, like, play it for turn, because we're probably going to pick it up to the Garrison trigger here, so we can just play it and get whatever 2 lands we want off of Primeval Titan's ETB. That seems fine. Is it really necessary, though? I guess it frees us to get 2 lands, and... because, like, if we leave the Stronghold in deck, then we'll be forced to get a bounce land and the Stronghold off of the ETB. This way, we're saving our ability to get 2 lands of whatever type we want. So I'm going to do this. Not attacking with Grazer. No time for that kind of silliness. Manamorphose is how it begins. It's the beginning of the end, guys. I mean, they could potentially have stuff to kill our Titan, but we'd still be able to chump block with the Grazer and untap and slam another Titan, and this one is going to get Fielded Ed, so almost assuredly. It's probably Fielded Ed Talari West, and then we haste it and then get even more triggers. Or we just win. Okay. I will not argue with that logic. So we did see the Reveler, so we are interested in Bog, actually. I stood corrected. Do we want to cut a land anyways? I don't know. I kind of like the lands that we have to just trim the stirrings, which I don't hate. They've got a lot of creatures, so maybe Dismember is not going to be the right move. Not sure. I don't know if I'm in love with Dismember, to be honest. What else would we bring in, though? Like, Explore doesn't seem great. Beast Within doesn't seem necessary. I could see playing 1 Stirrings over 1 Dismember, so that we are not losing too much life, potentially. We also have an Aether Gust as a Dismember stand-in. It's not the worst. We can also put some things in the road so that we don't just get smacked right in the face. We could have, like, a Grazer or a Tracker or something. I mean, it's not ideal to block with a Tracker, but, I mean, if we already have a Titan lined up, then I don't see why we wouldn't. We could trim 1 more Pact. I don't know. I'm going to submit this way. No reason to think too hard on it. We're also on the draw, meaning we're more likely to see a Dismember. Although, to be honest, on the draw, we may need Dismember even more. Although, taking 4 damage to cast a Dismember doesn't feel like a winning proposition, in all honesty. So, we can play an Explosives on 1 on turn 1, but in order to actually, like, use it, we'd have to top deck an Amulet, and then use Sanctuary to blow up our Amulet and their creature, or we'd have to top deck an untap land, and I'm not really hoping to top deck lands with this hand at the moment. I don't know, maybe not. We've got some ways to get them into play. Not sure if this hand is going to be good enough, because if we go turn 1 Valakut, turn 2, you know, Explosives on 1, pick up the Valakut, turn 3 Gemstone Mine, blow it up. I don't know if that's really a winning line. Let's see, what do? They kept 7. I kind of feel incentivized to mulligan, but this type of hand doesn't seem bad. I really would like a Grazer or an Amulet, though. I just get the feeling this hand's going to be too slow. I'm going to mulligan it. There's a Grazer, and we got a Dismember. And we got a Titan and a Dryad. Yeah, this hand's much better. Alright, so we're going to keep this for sure. Now we got to figure out what we're shipping to the bottom. It's either this Dismember or this Summoner's Pact. If we ship the Pact, then that means we're hoping to top deck a land and a Titan. If we ship the Dismember, that means we're hoping that our Grazer is going to get us enough, or buy us enough life. Because we can go turn 1 Grazer, turn 2 Dryad, hold up Dismember, and that seems quite good. If we go turn 1 Grazer, turn 2 Dryad, then we only need to top deck 1 land, and we have a turn 3 Titan with Dryad, so I think maybe we want to ship the Dismember. And this way we only have to draw 1 piece to make this hand exceptional. And they don't have a 1-drop, so that's interesting. Here's Grazer. I don't know what Tracker does for this hand. We will see. One thing's for sure, Grazer is quite good in these red matchups. What would we do without untapped green sources? Speaking of untapped green sources, that's great, because now we have our Titan lined up. So let's go ahead and play out this Dryad. And I'm not going to show them the Garenbrig. I don't want them to... Oh, okay, they have Manamorphose. Are they digging for an Aether Gust or something here? This is an odd time to cast Manamorphose. They do have Aether Gust. Let's put that guy on the top, I guess. We'll pass it back. This upcoming turn, we might actually be incentivized to play a Tracker into Forest, although that would not allow us to have a Dryad turn as far as our Titan is considered. Like, we wouldn't be able to get Valcut to start pinging down their creatures, so... What? I guess our opponent got salty because they didn't draw a creature? I'm not really sure what happened there. I don't know. That was just so weird. I don't know. I guess my opponent was just not having a good day. But, I mean, now I'm having a good day, I guess. I don't know. That was just really weird. Let me know in the comments what you think happened there, because I have no clue. I guess they just were hoping they would draw a creature of some sort and then just never found it. Like, what was their hand? They just conceded and drew a couple cards, and that was it. Maybe if I had stayed in the match a little longer, they would have revealed their hand. But, anyways, I'm not going to question it, I guess. I'm never going to look a free win in the mouth, or as they say, like, look a gift horse in the mouth. I don't know if that translates. But regardless, I guess I'll see you guys for match 2. See, Tireless Trackers overpowered. They could sense that I drew this card and that it was in my hand, just lying in the weights, and they just gave up instantaneously. Not instantly, instantaneously. The very second they sensed it, they conceded. It's just how it is. It's the card. It's just the card, guys. Alright, well, I will see you guys for the next match. Thank you for joining me for this one. I wish I could explain to you how we won that match, but... Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna call that there. This is Redface Menace, signing off.